Neck pain is very complex and it oftentimes gets oversimplified, in my opinion, with exercises that are a little bit myopic and addressing the symptom rather than the root cause of these problems. The two most common and significant influences on neck pain that I see is a forward position of the head, but also a poor breathing strategy. These things are often very intertwined. When people have a compromised breathing pattern or a compensatory breathing pattern, it often means that their diaphragm is not able to do what it needs to. It's not able to go into a domed and then flattened position as it needs to upon inhalation and exhalation. So what happens is that when the diaphragm's position is compromised and its function is compromised, then we're going to kick on more accessory muscles of inhalation, the muscles that are supposed to help us when we breathe, but not be the primary drivers of it. They also attach on these first couple of ribs right here, which elevate the ribs upon inhalation, but if they're working in overdrive and they're working too hard, they can lead to a state where they are chronically tight and trying to do a lot of the work to help open up that rib cage as the diaphragm should be helping us to do upon inhalation. If these muscles get tight, that can lead to a position where the head is being pulled forward because of where they attach. This is also oftentimes being fed by a slouched posture, where they are in thoracic kyphosis. And that is also leading to a position where the head is being pushed forward as well. If these ribs are chronically depressed and unable to open up upon inhalation, the diaphragm's position is compromised and unable to do its job properly. The neck is meant to be mobile. It can rotate on several different axes, but it can also laterally flex from side to side. It needs to be able to do this. In my beginner body restoration program, one of my biggest priorities early on in the first phase of the program is to help open up the ribs from front to back and be able to use the diaphragm effectively, which will take stress off of the neck. If you want to take stress off your neck, I recommend you start in a side lying position and pattern your breathing really well. There's some research that suggests that a side lying position gives you the most front to back expansion of your rib cage. You can think about it like this. If I'm laying on my side, I have compression from the floor and also from gravity pushing down on me. So that's creating lateral compression for me to then open up my ribs from front to back. But we're gonna do this in the 90-90 position. So I'm gonna have Trevor scoot a little bit closer, and we have something underneath his head, like a yoga block, that allows his cervical spine and neck to be 100% neutral and straight ahead. It shouldn't be bending you one way or the other. Now, we just need to keep the feet flat on the wall, and for some people, they might need a little slight tuck of their pelvis, meaning if their pelvis is a bowl of water, it's now spilling out the front or the back excessively, it's nice and parallel with this wall right here. So because in this position, we're going to be coaching breathing and how to do it really effectively, that's what we're gonna be focusing on. So what we're gonna be doing here is just a nice, soft, long exhale through the mouth, almost as if you're sighing. And you're gonna do that for 5 to 10 seconds. At the end of that exhale, you're going to feel your side abs engage, particularly on this top side right here. Now, hold that tension in your side abs and close your mouth, and then put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Inhale through your nose very slowly. It should be a silent inhale. I should not be able to hear it for about 5 seconds, and you're gonna feel your ribs open up. And then exhale through the mouth again. So a full one will look like full exhale, sigh it out until you feel a little bit of the side ab tension, 5 to 10 seconds. Pause, tongue on the roof of the mouth with the mouth closed. Keep a little bit of that side ab tension, inhale through the nose. And that's all this is. It's nice and chill. There should be no tension. And a general idea is that I should hear you exhale, but I should not hear you inhale. The only thing to really look out for here is to make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders and your ears. Keep them out and relaxed. And also make sure that your shoulder here isn't rolled back or forward. You want it stacked on top of that hip. You can follow that up with something that's going to help open up these ribs like this. We're going to be in this hook lying A-frame position with our feet elevated on something where we can keep our whole foot flat and is about 2 to 4 inches tall. And then what we're gonna do is get a light weight. It doesn't need to be heavier than about 5 to 10 pounds. That's the maximum I would go there. And we're going to use a kettlebell here because that allows us to get a nice reach with that weight, but a dumbbell would also be totally fine and appropriate. So we're just gonna be in this position and just feel our whole foot flat and drag our heels, have the intention to drag our heels towards our butt, which is gonna give us a little bit of hamstrings on both sides. But the low back needs to remain flat. Now we're just gonna get a nice subtle reach and protraction of the shoulder. We're not gonna depress our sternum as we do that. We just want to get a nice, very subtle reach. And then what we're going to do is make sure that that kettlebell or dumbbell is resting along the palm of our hand, and we can keep that nice and stacked. And then we're gonna initiate this by inhaling and gently, very gently turning our head to the same side and supinating the hand or turning it out, and then exhaling through our mouth fully and returning back to this pronated position and a neutral head position. Only stay within the range of motion you feel comfortable rotating your neck. Don't overdo it, because if you do, it's not gonna feel great. Just work within the means of what you're capable. As you progress through this set, you can potentially start to turn your head a little bit more, but it should never be uncomfortable. It should feel nice and smooth and easy. The most common mistake here is that people, when they get that reach, are gonna shrug their shoulder into their ear. So we wanna avoid that. Keep the shoulder out of the ear, but still maintain that reach. The other thing is people's wrists are gonna get cranked back like that. Make sure you have a nice stacked wrist with that kettlebell resting within the groove of that palm right there. Now here's something you've probably never considered. Your molar teeth, these back teeth right here, are basically like the heels of your cranium. Now this is very complex, but to put this simply for the purposes of this video, is you can think about it like they provide us a reference for that side of our body, and it provides us an ability to stay grounded on that side. You can test on yourself. If you gently bite down whatever your natural normal bite is, you're going to feel probably one side of your molars more than the other. When people have neck pain or they seem to have pain that jumps from one place in their body to the next, it's not very consistent. It's like playing whack-a-mole with their pain. So one day or 1 week or 1 month they have shoulder pain, then it's hip pain, then it's foot pain, and it just never seems to be consistent. A lot of times these people do not have a very stable cervical spine and also bite. If this rings a bell with you, I'll link down below in the description Postural Restoration Institute's website, where they have a map of different providers. And what you would want to do is look for someone in your area who is taking the cranial and cervical courses. A way you can work on this and help alleviate some issues, but also see if this is influencing you significantly, is to get into stance phase on one side of your body and have gentle molar contact on that same side. Here's one way you can do this, and you can do this on either side to see if this is influencing you. Now, we're gonna start with a parallel feet hip width apart stance. And then we're gonna have a band coming from the top of the squat rack, but it could easily be a door frame or whatever works for you. And then we're gonna take a step forward with the right leg, a very small step. So we have the left toes in line with the right foot midfoot. So this is basically just putting us in a position where we can lean on our left heel. So we're gonna get about 2/3 to 3/4 of our body weight on our left foot, but we're gonna focus most of that weight on the left heel. Now this doesn't mean that the left toes are pulled up, it just means that we have most of the concentration on that left heel. Right foot remains flat with the other part of our weight distribution. Now, bend both knees. This is really important. And we're gonna stay nice and tall. We might need to slightly tuck our hips, so if our pelvis was a bowl of water, it's not spilling out the front or the back excessively, it's just nice and neutral and parallel with the ground. And now what we're going to do is just take that band, and it's just serving as a reference for us to slightly push down. And that's going to get us to engage these side abs on that side, and now this shoulder is gonna be slightly lower than this shoulder. So for you, what it's gonna feel like is that your head is tilted to the other side, because it is, but it shouldn't be so much to where you feel like you're cranked over to that side. It's just a slight push down with about 2 to 3 out of 10 intensity. So once you've established this position, what we're gonna do to add on to this is just slightly bite down with the back molars, your back teeth on the side you're leaning on. That'd be the left side in this circumstance right here. Now, it shouldn't be intense, it should be really chill. Most people should be able to do this without straining too much. There are exceptions with people with different bite patterns. The idea is just really chill, hang out there, then breathe in through the nose, out through the nose for about 5 breaths, focusing on the heel, soft bend in the knees, and those back teeth. If you're having a hard time feeling those back molars, you can take something like a popsicle stick or a business card, something like that, and just gently place it back there to give you a reference to bite down on. And that should be a much more effective way for people to find contact back there who are struggling. If this is influencing you, you're going to see significant improvement in your shoulder internal and external rotation measurements, the ability to rotate and flex your neck, but also potentially some of your hip measurements like your straight leg raise as well.